Hey guys, welcome back to Whitty's Gear Reviews. Today we're going to look at a knife that's brought to you by Felissa. Guys, go back and look at some of my other videos. I've reviewed Felissa knives before, and this is the new one that just came out. They're a little late to the party, but I'm glad they showed up. We're going to go ahead and look at this and make some comparisons. As you can see, Felissa doesn't do a lot as far as packaging, right? That's okay. I don't need fancy packaging. I'd rather them spend the money on the knife and less on the packaging. Alright, so this is a knife. And when I saw it, I thought, okay, I know what that looks like. I know what they kind of modeled it off of. And I'm interested. Now, not knowing, haven't seen any other reviews on it, didn't really know what I was going to get myself into when I got it, took it out of the box, and I was really surprised with the action on this knife, the fit, the finish, and the quality. Now, before we get into any of the function, let's just go over some ins and outs of the knife. This is what Felissa doesn't really name any of their knives. This is a Felissa 4.5-inch folding knife. That's what it's called. This knife, this is a green scales that comes in blue, green, and pink. Up here in the corner, I'll leave a picture of the different colors because it's like a teal blue, light pink, and this green. The blade color is all stonewash silver, which all three of them have the same color, and there's not black or anything like that available. But the blade comes in AUS-8 steel. It's 2.2 millimeters thick, and it has a hardness rating of 58 to 60 HRC. And then let's get into how the thing works. Let's look at the outside. You can see the grip, right? Little bit of logoing in there, but it's part of the texture, so it's not too bad. Their name across the back on the pocket clip, which is a deep carry pocket clip. It's got good spring retention, and it is reversible. So that's a plus there. And you can see the brass on the inside, which threads into that side, so it's not like it's just screwing into the plastic of the handles. It is an axis lock. And maybe we can. One thing I noticed and I was kind of curious about, because if you haven't seen any of my reviews, go back and look. I've done a lot of reviews on the Ozark Trail knife. I noticed in the pictures of this that this was a very, very thin knife. Looking inside there, I don't know if we can see it. Barely. There is a waffle pattern. You can kind of make it out in there. That's very, very close to what a Benchmade Bugout looks like. And there's no steel liners in there whatsoever. I know a lot of people are saying, all right, some things they don't like about the Bugout is you can smash it. This has some flexibility, but it's not. I'm pressing pretty hard. It's not super bad. I can't make them touch. I mean, I guess I could make them touch if I really tried. Not quite. I'm not trying to break it. I mean, they designed it like that to be a lightweight knife that you really don't feel too much in your pocket, right? It's not a burden. It's not super heavy, but that could be a good thing and a bad thing. Super light knives, I've always found that they're harder to forget. A heavy knife, when you throw it in your pocket, man, you could walk out to the truck and you're like, yep, my left side of my pocket or my right side's not sagging, I don't have my knife, right? This one's harder to tell if you don't have it. But that makes it really good to carry because it's lightweight, fits in the pocket, doesn't weigh you down. And we'll get over the weight, or we'll get into the weight. We're actually going to weigh this compared to what they say, because what they say the knife weighs on the website isn't what the knife weighs. They're saying this knife comes in at 2.9 ounces, which I thought, okay, it's not a super lightweight knife, right? If you could be under 3 ounces, you start getting into lighter weight knives. But I picked it up and I'm like, there's no way. So we're going to weigh this thing in comparison with a couple other knives. Now, the handle on this isn't micarta. It's not G10. It is actually glass-filled thermoplastic, which is durable. I'm not going to say that they skimped out and put some cheap, crappy plastic on there. It's not. It is a good Kind of like a FRN handle, fiberglass reinforced nylon. But that's not what they call this. They actually call this glass-filled thermoplastic. So don't know if that's exactly what FRN is, which is fiberglass reinforced nylon, or if they're two different handle materials. But as far as the axis lock, right? I mean, this thing is super, super snappy, easy to open. Whether you're opening with the axis lock, thumb stud, there's no back flipper, so you can either axis lock it out and closed. Super easy to reverse flick, thumb flick, however you want to deploy the thing, whichever makes it easier for you. It comes out of there. Now, nowhere in the listing did I see anything say that it's ball bearings. It feels like ball bearings to me, but without taking it apart, I don't know. And they are. So they're Teflon ball bearings. I can actually see them. I don't think you can, but they're gray. So they're not copper or brass. Yeah, my camera's not going to show that, but they are ball bearings, which nowhere in the listing does it say they are. But after feeling a lot of knives with brass and with ball bearings, you kind of can tell when you first flick it open. Now, the only drawback, and it may not be to everyone, is the blade is partially serrated, but it's minimal. So it's almost like, okay, I get it, but why did you put it on there? But you still have plenty enough blade for any cutting task that you don't want the blade to be serrated on. Most people that watch my channel know I'm not a big serrations guy, but this knife is subtle, and really, I still like the knife, regardless of that. It might be a deal breaker for some, and it might be the perfect knife for others. It's all going to come down to preference. When we're looking at the blade size on this thing, you're looking at 3.2 inches. With a 4.5 inch when it's closed, right? But it's super, super, just a good all-around knife for the money. And let's get into that. This knife comes in right now in all three colors. It's all the same price on Amazon, sub $20. It is a $19.99 knife. Yes, I get it. That's 20 bucks. But what's 1 cent between friends? It does come in slightly under $20 at $19.99. Now, you got to watch these things, guys, because Felissa is known for, if a product that they have is kind of struggling in sales, they'll probably drop this thing down to 12, 14, 15, something like that dollars. And it is a excellent knife for the 19 bucks, but a steal of a deal for anything less. Now, in comparison, you could probably look at it and say it's Bugout-ish. But it does have distinct features that makes it not. If we were to look at it, compared to a Bugout, blade profile's different. This has a lot steeper drop point. Doesn't have serrations. Handle style is kind of close. You do have that little wave in the handle. Difference in the way they have their mounting for their pocket clip and how their lanyard hole is. But if you look inside this knife, you can also see those waffles in there. But look how easy it is to press a Benchmade. Right? You can depress that thing and you can push it all the way shut. Another knife it reminds me of is the Ozark Trail. Now, big difference in weight here and in thickness. You can see the thickness of that knife and the thickness of this knife. And then you go to the thickness of the Bugout, and these are real close. This is a lot thicker, but there's a reason for that. Is what they did different than the Bugout was they put steel liners in this knife. So having a full steel liner is definitely going to make this knife heavier. But you're looking at D2 steel. You're looking at Oz 8 here. So this is going to be an Oz 8 steel blade with that nice stonewash finish. Good thumb studs. Real low, almost flush axis lock, where the Ozark, they stick up quite a bit and they are almost flush on the Benchmade as well. But that is your knife. Let's go ahead and check the weight, because like I said, the description that I wrote down the notes shows the knife and the description on Amazon being 2.9 ounces. Old Whitty's logo, I miss that guy sometimes. So we're going to go ahead and put this over to ounces and see. Make sure we're zeroed out. Let's go ahead and weigh the Bugout, because I know what the Bugout weighs. The Bugout weighs roughly 1.85, somewhere in there. What are we doing here? Zero out. Okay, so that's right on par for what the Benchmade is advertised to weigh. So this thing weighs 2.0. So a hair heavier, but still lighter than the 2.9. Well, now it's dropped down to 1.9. What are we here? Okay. 4 times a charm. All right, so we're going to say it weighs between 1.9 and 2.0, which isn't that much heavier than the Bugout. Now you take your Ozark knife on there with the steel liners, and you're looking at 2.8, which is what they say. This is close to what they say this knife should weigh, but it does not. It's at 2 ounces. I just wanted to show you that, guys, because sometimes when you read stuff, you may say, oh man, that's a heavy knife, not interested, you know, and we're looking at ounces, guys. I mean, it's not horrible at that weight. A lot of people carry this. This is probably pretty close to what a lot of knives weigh anyways, but then this thing comes in super light. It's super snappy. And is it sharp? We'll get our little notepad here. I would say that knife is sharp. I was trying to cut real fine pieces off, because sometimes the finer the pieces, if you can curl it like that one there, you know, just to see, right, how it would do. So it cuts. It's fairly sharp out of the box. I'm not mad at the sharpness of the blade at all. I think it's a good knife, especially for 20 bucks. A lot of people, they won't give this thing credit. They probably won't give this thing a lot of credit because of the name. But I can tell you, this is a good knife. This is a really good knife in its category for what it is. For not having steel liners, but it is, you know, super light and still a nice knife. I like a super light knife when I'm wearing shorts and stuff like that. Guys, it is worth a shot, in my opinion, to get that Aussie to try in this Felissa knife. I have several Felissa knives. I actually took a Felissa knife with me on my camping trip, which is, oh, that's the one I didn't bring. Well, it's around here somewhere, but I brought one with me. And then I really liked that one, so I bought another one with a different handle material. They have been really good. This is the, I think it's the third third Felissa knife that I own as far as a pocket knife. Let me see if I can find the last one. I've got so many knives. It's hard to find things. Okay. So these are the other two Felissa knives that I own. This one was the first one that I got, which is an axis lock. I liked the blade profile. I liked everything about this. This is, I think, G10 on this one. Or it's a FRN. but a super snappy knife. I like that knife. And then I got this one, which was a little bit bigger of a knife. But this one's harder because it doesn't have thumb studs on it, right? It's got that big hole there, which to me, it's easier to flick it, reverse flick than anything. But I really like this knife. I carried this knife for a while. I really like this one. But out of the three that you see here, and they're all sub $20 knives, guys. I think I paid $12 for that one and $15 for that one. And then now you're stepping up a little bit into the $19.99 range. But Felissa makes very good knives as far as I'm concerned. Their blade steel's good. That one's D2. This one is D2 as well. And then now you have the Oz 8. Anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts on the Felissa knives. Do you own one? Have you seen them and just, I don't know, not going to pull the trigger? I think they're good knives. I think this one has a right to be reviewed and has a right to be tried out. Guys, this knife broke the internet, right? Why? It's a great knife. It's a solid knife, and it's a $9.97 knife. That's probably why it broke the internet, right? Because nobody was really cloning this until this came out. But they changed a lot of things to make it different. This is a lot more like the Benchmade. And I think if you're looking for that type of knife, lightweight, super slim, reversible pocket clip with a decent steel for a blade, and if you want the serrations, that's probably what's going to put this over the other two knives that I showed you, over all the knives that I showed you. So you kind of got to think about what you need, what you want your steel to do. And this might be the knife for you, especially for the $20. Anyways, guys, that's all we had. There's still 3 ways to support the channel: Whitty's Gear, Buy Me a Coffee, memberships. If you want to help us out, those are great ways to do it. I am not an affiliate with Felissa. They sent me these, or I bought these knives. They didn't send them to me. Just browsing on Amazon. Saw this one. It was a new release. And I'm like, man, I haven't seen that knife. There's a lot of things I like about it. Let me buy it, review it on my channel, and give some people some heads up on the knife. Anyways, guys, do us a favor. Like, share, subscribe, click all them notifications, give us that thumbs up. Still have the goal to hit 3,000 subscribers by Christmas. The way things are going, and thank you all so much for your support. We're probably going to do that in mid-November. Hit that 3,000 goal that I had for December 25th, which is awesome. Might push a new goal. Probably a little aggressive, but help us make it to 3,500 by December 25th. That would be awesome. Anyways, guys, love y'all. See you on the next one.